Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Urbanist Lens. It's Drew coming at you from New York City.
Oh, it's cold here.
It's cold. You know what's been my mission lately?
What's that?
The perfect cold brew. You know, I love my cold brew, but
Yeah.
finding the perfect one in this city, it's like a quest.
It's a journey.
It is. I think I found a new spot though. I'm pretty excited about it.
Ooh, okay. Well, let me know because I am always down to try a new cold brew spot.
Okay, deal. But before we get into that, I'm curious, what have you been up to? Anything exciting happening in your neck of the woods?
You know, it's funny you should ask about my neck of the woods because I was on the subway just the other day, and you know how it is this time of year, everyone's bundled up looking miserable.
Yeah,
And then there's this guy in shorts and flip-flops, like full-on summer attire. I had to give him props for braving the cold like that.
that's New York for you. Some people just laugh in the face of winter, I guess.
Seriously.
Well, speaking of things that can heat things up,
Yeah.
we're talking about something today that can really make a city feel like a sauna, even in the dead of winter.
Yes, right.
Urban heat islands.
Ooh.
It's something that a lot of people don't realize is a huge issue in cities all over the world.
And you know what? One of the biggest culprits is something you might not even think about.
With that,
The color of roofs.
yeah, you know, it's funny you mentioned that because I was reading about how Australia,
Oh, interesting.
they're actually taking this roof color thing very seriously down there. They've been experimenting with different policies and initiatives to encourage lighter colored roofs.
I did not know that. Tell me more.
Well, it all comes down to this thing called the urban heat island effect.
Right.
And I think it's important to kind of break this down for our listeners before we get too deep into the roof situation.
Yeah, let's do that.
So basically, picture this. You're walking through a park, nice and shady. It's a hot day. You're feeling pretty good. And then, boom, you step out onto a busy street surrounded by tall buildings and pavement, and suddenly it feels like you just walk up to an oven.
It's that blast of heat, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And that, my friend, is the urban heat island effect in action.
It's because all those buildings and roads and concrete surfaces, they're absorbing heat from the sun all day long, like little sponges.
Yeah, and then at night, they release that heat back out into the city.
Exactly, which is why cities can be so much hotter than the surrounding rural areas, even at night when you think it should be cooling down.
Right. So it's like the city itself is trapping all this extra heat.
Exactly.
Okay, so now let's bring those roofs back into the picture
Okay.
because they play a huge role in this whole urban heat island thing.
They do. And it all has to do with a concept called albedo.
Albedo. Okay, I'm all ears.
Albedo is basically a measure of how much sunlight a surface reflects.
Okay,
So a white surface, like say a light-colored roof, has a high albedo.
okay.
It reflects a lot of the sun's energy back up into the atmosphere.
Gotcha.
But a dark surface, like a black roof, has a low albedo.
So it absorbs more heat.
Exactly, and that absorbed heat contributes to the urban heat island effect, making the city even hotter.
So it's like wearing a black t-shirt on a sunny day.
Yeah,
You're going to feel that heat way more than if you were wearing a white one.
it's the same concept.
Okay, I'm starting to see why Australia is so concerned about those dark roofs.
Oh yeah, they're on the front lines of this, and they're trying to come up with ways to cool down their cities.
So what kind of stuff are they doing down under?
Well, for starters, in 2021, the New South Wales government actually considered a ban on dark roofs in new developments.
Wow, a ban. That's pretty serious.
Yeah, they were really trying to tackle this head on.
So what happened? Did they actually go through with the ban?
It ultimately didn't go through because of implementation challenges. You know, there's always pushback and logistical hurdles when you're trying to implement something like that on a large scale.
Yeah, that makes sense. But even just the fact that they were considering it shows how seriously they're taking this issue.
Exactly. It's a sign of things to come, I think.
So even though the ban didn't happen, are there any places in Australia where they're actually putting these cool roof ideas into practice?
Absolutely. There's this really interesting housing development in Adelaide called Playford Alive.
Playford Alive. Okay, I've never heard of that.
Well, it's this new development, and they're taking a really proactive approach to urban heat. They're actually eliminating dark roofs in all future phases of the project.
Wow, that's impressive.
I know, right? It's all based on research that showed a significant temperature difference between homes with light and dark roofs.
How much of a difference are we talking here?
Their research found a 4.3 degrees Celsius difference.
4.3 degrees Celsius. That's huge.
That's massive, and think about what that means for energy consumption. People living in those homes with lighter roofs are going to be using way less air conditioning.
And saving money on their energy bills.
Exactly. It's a win-win situation.
So this Playford Alive development, it's like a real-world example of how these cool roof strategies can actually be implemented.
It really is. They're walking the walk.
I like it. Now, besides the obvious benefit of keeping cities cooler and saving energy, are there any other advantages to these cool roofs?
Oh, definitely. For one thing, cooler roofs mean cooler homes.
Yeah,
So it's not just about the overall city temperature, it's about improving the comfort and livability of individual homes.
right, because who wants to come home to a sweltering apartment after a long day out in the city heat?
No one. And it can actually be a health issue, too. Heat stroke and other heat-related illnesses are a serious concern in cities, especially for vulnerable populations like the elderly.
Absolutely. So these cool roofs could actually help save lives.
Potentially, yeah. And another benefit is that cool roofs can actually extend the lifespan of a roof.
Really? How does that work?
Well, think about it. All that heat beating down on a dark roof, it puts a lot of stress on the roofing materials.
Oh yeah, like when you leave a chocolate bar out in the sun, it melts faster.
Exactly. It's the same kind of thing. With a cool roof, you're reducing that thermal stress so the roof lasts longer.
So it's good for the environment, it's good for our health, and it's good for our wallets.
It's a triple win.
This all sounds amazing, but I'm sure there are some challenges when it comes to getting people to adopt these cool roofs.
Oh, absolutely. There are always challenges.
Like what?
Well, for one thing, aesthetics. A lot of people prefer the look of dark roofs.
Yeah, they can look very sleek and modern.
Exactly. So it's about finding a way to bridge that gap between functionality and design appeal.
So we need to convince people that cool roofs can be cool looking too.
Exactly. We need some stylish, cool roof options.
I like it. And what about in colder climates? Wouldn't a dark roof actually be beneficial in the winter because it would absorb more heat from the sun?
That's a really good point. And it's true, in colder regions, dark roofs can help to reduce heating costs during the winter.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Exactly. It's about finding the right balance for each specific climate.
Well, this has been super fascinating. I feel like I've learned a lot about urban heat islands and the power of cool roofs.
Me too. It's amazing how such a seemingly small thing like the color of a roof can have such a big impact.
Yeah, I know, right? So to all our urban explorers out there, we encourage you to take a look around your own cities and notice the roofs.
Yeah, are they light? Are they dark? How do you think they might be contributing to the urban heat island effect?
And if you're thinking about replacing your roof, maybe consider going with a lighter color option.
It could make a big difference for your home, your city, and the planet.
And join us next time on the Urbanist Lens, where we'll be exploring another fascinating aspect of urban life.
Until then, stay curious, stay cool, and keep exploring.
See you next time.
Bye!
Bye.